Hello, my name is Lydia Kalushik and this is my audience. When a dog pulls on the leash, it can cause both physical harm to the dog and the person who's walking the dog. It can cause harm to the dog by, if the leash is connected to their collar, it can cause them to choke. And even if you have a harness for the dog, it's not a complete solution, as if they are strong enough and they pull hard enough, then it can still cause them to choke, and by letting out all the oxygen in their lungs. It can also hurt the person who's walking the dog. Sometimes if the dog is strong enough, it can cause dislocation from when they pull, or if you have a certain type of leash, sometimes it can cause burns. That is even something I personally had to deal with when I was training this guy. His name's Mel. He is my service dog in training. And so this is why you need to train a dog not to pull. But I can say that it doesn't make it easy. So what is the steps to make sure a dog doesn't pull on the leash? Well, first we must understand what tools are best to use, then how and why to use positive reinforcement, and also how to do recall, as this is the most necessary step of the training process. So starting off with the best tools. There is a guy on the internet named Will Atherton. He runs an academy. He's a dog trainer. He's the person I actually looked to when I was training my own dog. Now in his videos, he explains that you can use a pronged collar. I personally do not recommend this though when you are trying to train a dog, unless it's with a trainer, as it is negative reinforcement, and because of the spikes, it can still harm the dog if not used correctly. So it is best to use it with a trainer. He even recommends a training leash. That is something I also recommend, but something I also recommend is a bungee leash, which is what this is. Now what happens is when a dog pulls, it extends out, but it helps try and get them back together, hence the bungee part. So it helps for when they pull to help try and train them slowly to come back as well. Now, although I said earlier that harnesses aren't a full-on solution, it does help in that they have to be pretty strong to choke themselves with it. And it does stop a lot of the choking that would happen with a collar. Something else I recommend is actually a belt. I have this right here. I'm currently not using it, but what happens is it ties around your waist like a belt would, and you attach it to the leash. And that will help make it so when the dog pulls, it pulls at your core, and you can help steady yourself as opposed to your arm where you're thrown off balance. And something I don't recommend, however, is a leather leash. This is what I used previously when I said I got burns. This is why I got burns. I don't actually get burns anymore with this leash, even when I was trying to train him not to pull. And the reason this burned me is because it is very rough on the inside, and it's very hard and not very maneuverable, so it just causes burns. So I recommend a bungee leash and harnesses when trying to do any training with a dog. Now moving on to positive reinforcement. A quick and easy way to explain what positive reinforcement is that when a dog or even anything tries to do an action and you want that action, you reward them for it. It tries to tell them, hey, that is what I want to see. You are doing good when you do that. So it is to find what is reinforcing to the dog. It's a kind of a trial and error process. There are many different things they may see as rewarding. I know personally, Mel, sit. Yes, he finds treats rewarding like that. And as you saw there, I use it with a code word called yes. Other people may do good, or good boy, good girl, or whatever they want. It doesn't matter as long as you use it while giving the treat. It helps reinforce in their brain that they are doing good, even if you may not have what they find rewarding in hand. Like I said, I personally use treats, but there are other things you can use. I've seen some people just do pets, where they go like this, they give the dog all the love in the world, they go, yes, good boy. That can be rewarding for some. I just find treats easier for my dog. Something else I've seen people do is use toys. Again, I don't personally use that, as he doesn't really find it as rewarding as when I give him a treat. But this is a trial and error process to see what they will respond to and listen more to. And it will take a while, but eventually you'll find it. And So moving on to the next point of what is recall. And this is the main step of how we will get our dog to stop pulling. Recall is basically when a dog starts walking away, you call them, they come back. So how we do this is, for example, let me try and do this. He is currently trained, so it's a lot harder for me to get him to walk away from me. Sit. But so basically they will pull, and you kind of saw there how I pulled it just slightly and he comes back. Yes. And you reward, just like that. It's a little harder for me to demonstrate this, but if you have a dog or you're training a dog and you start seeing that, Benna, come here. You will start seeing it very early what you want to, what you are trying to find. Sit, stay, stay, and so he kind of pulls, and then I tug one more time, and then he comes back. And then every time they do that, you reward, yes, and eventually they do that. And so what happens is eventually this can and hopefully will turn into them staying near you when you walk, because they start associating being near you with a treat or whatever they find rewarding. And so they will want to be next to you or a little bit around you. And this can also help teach them to heel as well if you want to do that, but right now we're just focused on them coming back and not pulling. And this will help do that. They will want to be near you. And so basically, in conclusion, when you want to teach a dog not to heel, you first need to figure out what the best tools are, which from my experience is a harness and a bungee leash. And you also want to use positive reinforcement, which can be anything from a treat, a toy, to pets. And then you want to teach them recall, which is that last step I taught you, where they will come back to you. And you just keep doing that. It is a rinse and repeat cycle. And that's all. I hope you, if you use this, I hope you have good luck trying to do it. Thank you for coming to my speech. This is my audience again.